In this video, we're going over the use of Thicket version 0.1. We consider this an alpha, though it may not necessarily be alpha quality. Some things definitely are, other things aren't. My name is Ben Flanagan. I am the developer of OpenSeed and Thicket. Thicket is, think of Thicket as a media delivery service for the STEEM blockchain, as well as anything that uses OpenSeed. OpenSeed is an API, a bridge, if you will, between uh, non-web app and non-blockchain applications and the Steam blockchain. It works either with or without Steam, so you can have an OpenSeed account that is not necessarily connected to Steam, or you can have a Steam account that's not necessarily connected to OpenSeed. And that separation is important for various reasons, especially when we start getting to the games area of the program. But we're not there yet. We're going to talk more about the music one. I started, or rather, I dropped a post yesterday, and this video will probably make its way into that post about OpenSeed, or not OpenSeed, excuse me, about Thicket and where we stand. But this, I just want to kind of go over, show you guys what it does, what it doesn't do, that kind of stuff. For those who aren't quite convinced by the pretty pictures. All right, so I have an OpenSeed account, which I linked just a few seconds ago. You can also create a new account if you don't already have one. It's pretty simple: username, password, email address. We use the email address to recover your information, or rather verify your information, but we cannot recover your password because we don't store it. All right, we being the royal we, because really I'm the only developer at the present moment. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and link my Steam account. This will be moved off of the main area soon, probably the next version, and only complain about not having a Steam account whenever you use a Steam function, which at this current moment is in the tipping/download area. But as it is current, we're forcing people to link their Steam account, so that way it lowers the number of people that just jump on, especially at this early date. All right, so now that it's linked, this is the first bug you're going to run into. Unfortunately, I wasn't. This should have pulled up the music thing because it's the only thing available. At some point, this screen will be filled with a lot of information on various things, like maybe games you downloaded, updates that are possible, new music, whatever. It'll be a kind of a dashboard interface for all three sections. Anyway, so clicking on music, the middle button, the only button that works, you'll be greeted with the music deck, as I call it, or home, because I forgot to rename it there. And as you can see, here are some artists that are on the Steam network. They show up relatively instantly. There's a little bit of a lag, and if you have a slower internet connection, I can't guarantee that's going to go super great. Now, I'd like to take a step back just for a second before showing anything else, that this is not a web app. It does use internet connected things like the blockchain and like servers and whatnot, but it is a client server application. Uses sockets, its own port, its own internal infrastructure, and it also uses IPFS, which does have a web interface, but not. You get the idea. This is not an Electron app. This is not a web app. This is an actual app. It's actually built in Godot, which is a game engine. And so what that'll allow in the future is a lot of really fun effects, some more innovative features that I just currently haven't added. Again, it's only been a week. Okay, so let's go through the music deck here first and kind of just go over the general user interface. The topmost part is the new artist, which is slightly misnamed. Right now, everybody's a new artist, so it's going to show everybody, or at least the 5 newest. In the future, it'll be more so like this artist put up a new track or a new set of tracks, and here's the artist logo. You get 5 of them, and this is the 5 newest, which don't always necessarily jive with new music, which is just whatever the newest tracks that have hit D sound at the present moment. And probably into the future, just whatever is connected to the Steam network and music is what we're going to use. But D sound is the only one in the game at the present moment, and thus that's what we use. So you'll probably see, like there's 9 of them, so there's a good chance that even though there's 5 up here, the 5 up here may not coincide necessarily with the new music area. But you cannot click on any of these yet, the 9 tracks. That is just because I'm not too sure how I want to do it. But if you do click on new music, it will bring up the playlist for those new tracks, and so you can just play them from here. All right, so back to Music Deck. All right, so below new artist, and we'll click on one of the new artists in a few minutes. You'll also see 2 automated playlist, or 1 automated playlist, and then a discovery service. The automated playlist currently is recent, is the only one we have. In the future, this will probably change to random, or maybe be user selectable, and maybe even the possibility of having just this page just keep on scrolling down with more user-defined playlist in the future. I'm not too sure. I kind of like it stopping where it stops with just the 2. And I think it looks nice. It's balanced, but to each their own. Okay. So again, you can click on. You can't click on the tracks here or any of the information. This is really just a viewer. But clicking on the play button does bring you to the most recent playlist, or the most recently played playlist, which you can also access here from the menu. A little redundant, but that's okay. All right, so back to Music Deck. Genres is the last thing on this. Genres is what you'd expect it to be. We pull the genres from the collected music that are in the database, and then display them in this to create their own playlist. So you can click on rock, and here are all the rock songs, or at least all the ones marked as rock. And you can click on individual things, like maybe Survivor here. Oh, that's not very exciting. Let's see what's I Fear Robots. So do any of these have posts? There might be something wrong with... Aha, there's one with a post. Okay, so yeah, on the right-hand side here, as you can see, you have the track art. You also have the post that was written about the track, which is nice. Some of them are going to have them, some of them aren't. Some of them have weird little issues that I need to figure out. Unfortunately, as amazing as Godot is as a game engine, it does not have any sort of markdown reader or HTML parser or anything like that I know of, at least not default. And I tried my best to keep everything default. So this will sometimes have some weird marks in it. I can't really do anything about that at the present moment because I don't know what everybody's going to use until I see them. But okay, so anyway, but enough about that. From left to right, like, favorite, and tip. Like will add it to the liked area, your liked playlist here. It will also like the post on Steam. If the post is below the 7-day threshold, right now, I'm just assuming everyone is not. Like every one of these posts are older than 7 days, so that has been turned off currently. But as new music is added, as more people use this application, that will turn into a like for the Steam network as well. And really, it doesn't matter if you're above that 7-day mark or not. Just you need to be aware that you're not going to be rewarding the people, and you will be losing a little bit of mana when you use it. So just keep that in mind. All right, so favorite, we'll add it to the favorites list. And currently, the only difference between liked and favorites is that the favorites will not be deleted from the cache when a date threshold is reached for the cache, where a like does. That doesn't remove them from your list. It just removes the file from your computer, and it'll have to be re-downloaded when you play that song again. Favorites will keep it on your machine. So think of it as kind of like local storage, or like download locally on Spotify or something like that. They are retained. And also in the future, whenever we get all the little issues with IPFS worked out, and not in this version, but probably a couple of versions ahead, when you hit favorite, it will also pin that song to your IPFS service, whether that be local or hosted somewhere else, and then that will share out to the rest of the network, and there might be a little bit of a cutback for you for helping the network stay strong and work well. Okay, so tip is the last one, and I will admit this interface is horrible, but it was, the last thing I added, and probably one of the most frustrating parts to get working the way I wanted it to. But this is simply a way to show the artist, especially past 7 days, that you appreciate their work, that you want to give back to them. It's choose, you pay what you want. In the future, this will also be a download feature, so a person can download the track out of Thicket and into a format. It'd just be like an MP3 with a proper name that is not connected to IPFS or anything like that. If you were to look, if you know anything about IPFS, it's not exactly user friendly as far as naming is concerned. So you can pick your price, and you can change whether you want it to be STEAM or SBD. You can go as low as like 0.1, I think, maybe 0.01 STEAM. There is a small cut. I actually have it on there because I don't believe in transparency. That if you go above 33 cents, a small, like 10% of the proceeds will go to the service providers, myself and DSound. Rather, I say myself. It goes to the OpenSeed account, which I'm using to primarily to push Steam and the platform currently. But so the 90% goes to the artist, and then the 10% is then cut in half, so it's 5% to DSound and 5% to OpenSeed, and that way everybody kind of can cover those costs, the server costs and all that, because we are doing a lot of stuff in the background. All right, so then you hit tip, and then it goes and sends it. All right, so cancel, of course, gets rid of the window. I haven't heard it, so I'm not going to tip you today, Adam Collector. I'm sorry. Yeah, so let's go on to the next thing. So in any of the lists, you can... actually, let's go back to Music Deck because I like it better. All right. This will pull you to the same location. So if you click on the artist within the list, or if you click on any of the new artists up here at the top, I'll go ahead and do Turtle Project because I did it before in a video that you guys didn't see. You'll be pulled up, it'll pull up a one artist only playlist, and it shows each individual song that they have, and it will pull up the post that they have just like the other one does. It's almost exactly the same. The only difference is that you have this nice banner up here at the top. You have the name of the person's profile name or a group's profile name, and then of course you have their description. Some of the descriptions are longer than I was expecting, so some of the descriptions get put off. Again, you have all the same features as you have before. Nearly not much more you can see there. I think that pretty much... curated music. Okay, so I'm not going to go through all these. I told you about likes and favorites. Recently played playlists are automatically made every time you finish a track. It doesn't do it just if you play it and stop it, but if you actually play it all the way through, it adds it to that list. Most played is the same basic premise, but it organizes it based on how many times you have played it as opposed to just if you played it recently. Random doesn't work, and I should have gotten rid of the button, but I like having things in threes or at least odds because like curated music only has one, and so there it is. Curated music is probably the place that I am most excited about, especially if we can get enough people doing it or enough groups doing it. What this is a well, it's what you expect it to be. Helpy is a community on Discord and Steam that tries to help minnows and people get discovered and all those really good things, help boost posts and so on and so forth. And they have a manual curation initiative called Helpy Cake, and those who get baked, posts that get baked, you get a little icon, a little automated message with a piece of cake and a nice little message about how wonderful it was and who was the one that helped them and whatnot. And what this curated music list is every song that the Helpy Cake initiative has liked and posted, the auto post. The program goes through, searches for anything that has the DSound logo, and then adds it to this curated list. And so you can assume, at least to some degree, that the stuff in here is relatively good. Um, and it is. It may not necessarily be your style of music, but it is good. Um, and let's go ahead and play a track since I have not done that yet. Oh, and this, of course, it tries to pull the image file from the post to display over here. If it can't, it'll give you a nice little music note. Um, it's just the way it is. Okay, so let's go ahead and play it. You can double click on it in order to play it, or you can use the play button down here at the bottom. If it's highlighted, it will play from it. If you just have the list up with nothing highlighted, it will just play the playlist through, just like any other sane music player does. Whoa, that's loud. My apologies to everyone's ears. That was horrible. All right, it may have only killed me. All right, so I apologize for that again. That was far louder than I was expecting it to be. But yeah, what are you gonna do? So I'm not even gonna stop the video, guys. I'm sorry. My apologies if you had me turned up all the way. All right, so next up is you of course can, here, let me move the mic closer so you can just hear me instead of the song. I also have speakers and I could just turn the speakers off because I'm a goober. Hey, look at that, amazing. Okay, look, I can be professional. Yeah, okay, so anyway, clicking the next track will switch it to the next track. You'll see it changes down here, and also the track in your information area, so you can like, favorite, or tip those individual tracks, which is a nice feature. You can go around to other things within while the music is still playing. The biggest issue that I have, that I'm not sure if it's an issue really, is that if you go to any other group or any other area to play, it will override the current playlist and it will play from whatever track in that playlist it's at. So that's just like I said, it's a bug, but is it a bug? I don't know. Maybe it's a feature. And yeah, so I think that's about it. These files are already downloaded on my computer, which is the reason why they played so quickly, and it kind of caught me off guard. If the music is not currently on your system, it takes a second or two. In the future, I will have some sort of feedback, some sort of visual cue that is downloading. At the current moment, there is not one. Because, again, a week. Come on, guys. What are you going to do? Oh, search. I never showed search. Okay, so let me go ahead and turn off the music. Again, I apologize for killing anyone's eardrums. You didn't really need those eardrums anyway. All right, so we have search here. So search is exactly what you expect it to be. Let me see if I can think of somebody to search. Let's do, since he's the one that killed our ears, let's go ahead and look him up again. I think it's a him. It could be a she. Nikki, if you're a he or she, I am sorry for assuming your gender. But I did. So there you are. I assumed it and then I took it back. Okay, so man, I'm just not having. We're not having any luck with him. All right, so the banner, of course, would show up in the background if it actually showed up. There must be something going on with maybe it's a PNG that's just improperly encoded, or a JPEG that's again improperly encoded. Sometimes you don't know until you actually pull it down. It's just the way it goes. Anyway, but so now you can see you have the search and then all their stuff on here. If you search somebody who does not currently exist in the OpenSeed / Thicket database, you will get a message saying that that person does not exist, and that it is going to build the database for you if there's any music that we can use. Unfortunately, that does take up to 5 to 10 minutes sometimes, depending on IPFS and just the roundabout way. So it basically just tells you to go away and then come back later. The good news is that if you do find someone that has not had that kind of exposure or on our list, they will show up in the new artist list next time whenever it's done, so you can find them easily again just by looking here or here. Um, and that is where we are, guys. For a technical point of view, okay, we have settings. None of these work, except for enable developer console. But then the developer console actually doesn't do much at all at the present moment. In the future, that will be where you go to add new games to the system. It possibly that might also change to adding audio and video to Thicket first, and then pushing it to D Sound and DTube as kind of another way of doing it for those who want to like a studio experience on their personal computer, to push it up there instead of using their online stuff that can be temperamental sometimes depending on your internet connection and all that stuff. So yeah, that is Thicket at the present moment. Hopefully by this time next week, or maybe it probably won't be next week. A couple of weeks from now, we'll probably have the games thing running, and I'll show off how to add games to the system. And if we're lucky, we'll have enough new users and enough people will adopt this software to fund further development. If not, no big deal. It was fun to work on. I appreciate everyone's viewing this video. I have a proposal on the Steam DAO titled OpenSeed and Outreach Operational Budget and Outreach Programs, or Outreach Project. It doesn't say Steam anywhere in it, so it's probably not doing as well as the rest of them. But it is for Steam, it's for OpenSeed, it's for Thicket, it's for anything that I'm basically doing. It's to fund the outreach projects that I have that are based either on Steam or around Steam. So please take a look at that. Check out any of my posts. Follow me at B Flanagan on Steam. You can find me at Vague Entertain on Twitter. I'm on Discord. I'm everywhere that you need to be. And thank you again. Oh, and also there's a Patreon page. This will probably also end up on Patreon because why not? If you don't want to back me anywhere else, but Patreon's like, hey, why not? You know, this was kind of fun and annoying, and not that annoying. And I didn't really need my eardrums. And if you're not having to pay for, ear surgery or something, feel free to find me there too. I'll leave the links in the YouTube video, which I'll probably be using YouTube for this instead of DTube, so I'm sorry. But yeah, I'll leave all the links in the post, and thank you again. Have a good one, guys. Oh, ooh, I can play us out. Can I play us out? Maybe I can. Here, just do new music and hit play and see what happens. Yep, there you go. And say, oh, what is it? All right, let's see, it's already downloaded. Awesome. Man, I'm glad when things work the way they're supposed to.